Wow.
That's a carrot cake. Does it look like a carrot cake?
No.
Do you want to come close and have a look?
Oh my God.
So this won Best Dessert in Australia for last year.
It looks beautiful, delicate, artful, and I'm not sure that I've ever done something that looks quite so beautiful, so yeah, I'm worried.
So there's a lot of elements and there's a lot of technique.
Shall we cut into it and have a look?
Yes, please. Yeah.
Of course.
Oh, that's amazing.
So down the bottom there is actually a carrot cake. Then you've got your rice bubble crunch for the texture of it. Then you've got your apricot and carrot insert.
Yep.
There's a praline creamer and there's a caramel glaze. Then we do our graffiti splash because it represents Melbourne. I'm a Melbourne girl, so I love that. But then you're also tempering chocolate. So you're doing a milk chocolate and an orange chocolate. Then you've got your crumbs with your carrot cake, caramelised walnuts, carrot ribbon, your sorbet as well, and the baby celery.
Okay.
And because of carrot cake, we've got the cream cheese icing. But that's not cream cheese icing, obviously, it's a foam.
This isn't just a dish, this is artwork. Like, there is no way in this world that I'm ever going to be able to make that. No way. I'm not going to finish this. I really wish that I had pushed myself to get that cream cheese on the plate. You know, I knew it was an important step in the dish. I knew it was a really important element. And I'm really hoping that I haven't made the wrong decision by focusing all my energy on that cake.
Obviously, you're missing the tempered chocolate.
Yes, I'm also missing the cream cheese as well. I didn't quite get that finished in time. I really wanted to just make sure that I focused on getting every element exactly how I remembered it and how I remember tasting it and feeling it in my mouth.
That's good.
Well, proof's in the pudding, isn't it, Rose?
Yeah, yeah.
And proof's in what we cut open and taste. Rose, thank you.
Thank you very much, guys.
Thanks, Rose.
Rose has to have done a great job with all the elements, because a carrot cake without the icing, is it a carrot cake?
Let's find out.
Oh, that's good. That's very good.
Oh, look at that.
Look at that. Wow.
She's done a really good job.
That is a very balanced interpretation of your dish. I think the flavours there are really beautiful. They look really beautiful. The sorbet and the cremo, for some reason, just pops, which is interesting. I like that. I really do.
Good crunch on the crumb as well.
Yeah.
For me, what's a standout is that sorbet. It's bright, it's vibrant, it's fresh.
Texture's lovely.
I think she took the longest, didn't she, making the sorbet? But obviously you can see
Well, you
why.
can see, look how bright it is.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Look, obviously we do need to identify that she has forgotten an element that is important, being that cream cheese foam.
This is one of George's favourite cakes. This is the first time we've had a dessert taste test. Jonathan, got any idea what's in it?
I'm hoping it's cake-like ingredients, unless George makes them from alternate products.
Well, Jonathan, you'll have to wait and see.
This cake brings back a lot of memories for me, because my mum would make this cake. Why? To make me feel like my Aussie next door neighbours. It's a simple cake. Don't overthink it. But there's always a few little flavours in there that my mother would put in.
So, time to get started. Matthew, you're the lucky first one. Let's go.
I'm feeling quietly confident. The desserts are right up my alley. It's quite a moist cake. There's a few little ingredients in there I can taste that I'm not sure the other contestants are going to pick up on. I think I'm going to keep them in the bag for later.
Matthew, you've tasted. Are you ready to name the first ingredient in this cake?
I'm going to start with the basics and say eggs.
Eggs. There are cakes that you make without eggs. I wonder if George's cake has eggs in it. Confident? For a first pick, Matthew, I wouldn't have done that one. But you're safe. Eggs are in the cake.
There goes one of my options.
Alvin, please step up for your first taste.
Desserts are harder because you cannot see some of the ingredients. You literally cannot see them.
I'm going to go butter.
You're right. Butter is in the cake. Well done, Alvin.
Phew.
Well done. Claire, step up for your first taste of the cake.
It's not a traditional cake. It's sweet, but it's also got this really unusual savoury element.
I'm going to play it safe and go for things that I can see. Walnuts.
Walnuts.
Maybe I'm making a mistake in going for the obvious stuff. This today just can't get any worse, it really can't.
I don't really like walnuts. But I like walnuts in this cake.
There are walnuts in the cake. Oh, thank God.
Walnuts are quite traditional in this type of cake. And I really think they're in there, not only for their flavour, but for their texture. Claire, well done. You can step back in line. You're safe at this point.
Jonathan?
This is probably the most nervous I've been going to a team elimination, but I'm still determined. I'm really determined to stay. I'm almost certain at this point it's a carrot cake, but there's some really interesting things. I think I can taste cumin. I think I can taste ginger and some other spices that I can't quite get. There are a lot of spices in the cake.
Jonathan, what's it going to be?
I'm going to go with pistachios.
They grow them in the north of Greece. Would they be in my mum's cake? Of course they would be. Pistachios are in the cake. Well done. Pistachio have the most amazing natural oil, and I think really that's what it adds to this cake. Thank you, Jonathan.
Marion, would you like to come up and have your first taste?
The last elimination I faced was a taste test, and I used my immunity pin to get out of it.
I'm going to decide to hand my immunity pin in.
Don't want to be brave? Take the chance with the taste test?
I didn't come here to gamble, George.
So having to face it today is a terrifying prospect. can see a lot of ingredients, but 4 of them have been picked. Probably the most obvious are the nuts. I'm finding it a really tough decision to make.
Marion, you ready?
I am going to choose flour. George has said we need to keep it simple, and I'm looking at the height of that cake and I'm thinking there's no possible way that you could get that sort of height and that sort of crumb without the flour.
Flour. Wow. Can you see it?
No.
Can you taste it?
No. I've only actually faced 1 team elimination. I'm feeling less confident because of it. So I'm crossing my fingers and hoping that this is a cake that has flour in it.
Marion? Congratulations. There is flour in George's cake. Well, each of you have tasted the cake, had a turn and named an ingredient. So far, so good. 5 down, 11 to go. Matthew, you ready for your second taste? Up you come.
Tasting the cake for the second time, I'm really looking for ingredients that I can see that are just going to jump out at me. I see sultanas. I find a black olive, which I think I'm going to keep for later. But there's also apricots on the top of the cake. And I decide to go with the apricots because I can see them.
Matthew, what was the little raised eyebrow? The look at George?
I think I spotted something in there that I might keep for later.
Are you ready to name your second ingredient?
I'm going to say apricot.
Apricot.
Dried apricot on the top.
Dried apricot. Matthew, you identified apricots. You then said dried apricots were in George's cake. I can now reveal. There are no dried apricots in George's cake. Matthew, an ingredient that's commonly used in cakes, whether it's a glaze, whether it's to glue things together or to enhance the flavour, is an apricot glaze or an apricot jam. That is very different from dried apricots. That's what George used in his cake. Matthew, we are so sorry. You've been eliminated from the competition.
I've got to put this bad boy together, so I start with my first layer. I get a really nice, generous spread of the orange and carrot marmalade on there. I top that with a little bit of the cream cheese icing as well. Then I get my second layer of carrot cake on top, and I just start creating this big pillowy dome of cream cheese icing. For me, even if this cake does look a bit rough around the edges and not perfect and polished, that is a beautiful thing. Now it's just time to go to town on this bad boy. I want to douse it with all of this walnut crumble and those beautiful toffied walnuts to make it look so generous and so inviting and just, overloaded with love.
Come on, guys! Work harder! Come on! 10 seconds! 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That's it, boys. Time's up. Well done.
I'm really looking forward to tasting these cakes. I think they've each got their own character. And I'm ready, optimistic, excited.
Shall we get the first one in?
I think so.
Walking my cake into the judges, I am so proud. This cake's everything that I had envisioned in my head.
To me, that is everything a home-baked cake should be. They're a little bit messy, things are spilling out around the middle where the top is squodged onto the bottom. That pile-up of golden crumb and nuts, it looks generous and it looks like you want to feed someone and make them happy, and I love that.
That's how I want people to feel when they look at my food.
You know what, on that line, I think we have to say,
Yeah,
we want to take a slice.
All right.
Matt, get out of here.
Thank you.
You know what? I'm going to take this cake cutting seriously. All right, I think I might just take my jacket off because I wouldn't want to get anything on it.
Right.
And oh, look at that.
Lovely. Right, I'm going in.
Can we
I can't
taste?
Wait, I can't wait. That kind of orange and
Doesn't that make
carrot
you happy?
marmalade that he made gives it a real bit of zing.
That is so utterly delicious. I do not want to stop eating it. It's so good.
I mean, I think he's got everything. I think it's got texture, it's got fabulous balance, he's got an absolute tanginess in the cream cheese icing, and it's not heavy.
That crumb and the nuts brings a really lovely texture to the whole party, and that carrot jam in the middle is an inspired idea. Tastes great, looks great. If Con and Charlie beat Matt, I'd be very, very surprised.
You know what? I'm not a big person to go to a place and have cake. I'm telling you now, if this was in a shop, I'd travel there and I'd have a couple of slices and be very, very happy.
And can we make sure, I mean, you can have a slice, but can we pack that up to take home? Nice idea.
Nice idea. Shall we get... Hey, guys.
Hey.
Excited, huh? That's the words I could hear. Now we're on to something sweet.
We are. I'm baking you a cake. I'm baking all of you a cake. Okay, so this is a carrot cake, but it's not at all like the carrot cakes you may have eaten. It's kind of ramshackle and it's slightly more English. It's a ginger and walnut carrot cake. So it's very, very simple, old-fashioned grandma cake, you know, a bowl and a wooden spoon. Okay, sugar.
Sugar, brown sugar.
Brown sugar.
Yep.
Which, you know, really helps keep it moist. So I'll let you clear everything away, John.
Yes, no, that's what I'm here to do.
A couple of large eggs at room
be your
temperature.
assistant.
Very
Yep.
important in baking that things are at room temperature. And then oil. I'm just gonna stir it together. I've got a job for you, though.
Yes, please.
Which is, I said it was carrot cake with ginger and walnut, and I have some candied ginger.
Candied ginger.
So what I want you to do is just put it in your hands, but let the excess sugar fall back in the bowl.
Gotcha, yep.
And because I don't want too much sweetness, and actually, you know, ginger is so wonderfully peppery, but obviously it's candied, it's going to be sweet. And will you roughly chop it?
Yes.
Thank you. And while you're doing that, I've got some plain flour here. Okay, some salt, fine sea salt is better. Bicarb, baking powder, and a lot of ground ginger.
Yum.
I'm gonna fork this together. I often make this cake a couple of days ahead.
Yeah.
Because like all these sorts of cakes, they just get better as they
Yeah,
stand.
yeah, of course.
Okay, I'm stirring the flour. I'm gonna be uncharacteristically patient, otherwise I'll just cover myself in flour.
Yeah.
And it makes quite a dry batter, but that's because you've got carrots to add moisture in a minute. It's not too dark. Oh, it looks like fudge, rather divine.
Yum.
Right. So when you've done that,
Yep.
young boy,
You're pushing me along, aren't you?
will you please do the same for the walnuts?
Yep.
Okay. grated carrots and get all of it in.
Okay, where would you like this?
In here. We're waiting.
Under pressure.
Now, I think those can be fairly rough.
Yeah.
So I'm going to
So
show you
just
what I
run
do
by
at
night.
home. Can I
Put
show
them
you
in
what? Can I? No,
tea-towel?
no. I'm much more old-fashioned than that.
Okay.
I just break them in my hand.
let's do it.
This is one, and I hope you don't lose sight of this sort of cooking when you're doing all these really quite nerve-wracking challenges, which is you feel the food and it's so wonderful.
Yeah.
You smell it as you do it, you feel it, and you really, it's sort of hands-on, and that for me, cooking is really, you know, about that. And that's, I mean, that's how I think pot fat.
Is that
I spilled
done?
something, that's done.
You kidding me?
I mean, that's how easy cooking can be, and I think you get all the flavour from this. Yes, it is.
Good.
I'll scrape if
Yeah.
you hold.
Yeah.
OK,
Done.
so this is what... It's really too nubbly ever to smooth, so I'm just going to go... OK. Right, and in it goes.
That's it?
That's it. The temperature is 150 with a fan oven. I think while the cake's in the oven,
Yep.
we'll get on with the icing. There is one job in the kitchen I hate more than any other. Sieving.
Sieving.
It is
Okay.
the one job I just don't have the temperament for.
You want me to sieve this for you?
Yes, please. That's icing sugar.
Yep.
OK. And you have got to sieve your icing sugar because here, you know, it always has those lumps. It's a humid atmosphere. In the UK, sometimes we don't have to, but you've got to because it will ruin any icing you make if there are lumps of sugar in. Butter. And now, stand away. I'm going to start mixing this. I'm going to try and do it slowly so I don't put icing sugar over everyone. Right. Now, what I add to this icing first is some corn flour. You call it corn flour, not cornstarch.
Yeah.
If I add corn flour, you don't taste it, but it really helps keep the icing together because otherwise sometimes it doesn't stand. It starts slightly coming apart. So I do the corn
just
flour.
like a tiny amount, isn't it?
Yes. I mean, it's a teaspoon,
Yeah,
but I mean,
yeah.
you can't taste it. And I've got some cream cheese here, and I'm going to beat in half at a time, because it's quite important not to overbeat, because even though you want it smooth and soft, you don't want it to go liquidy. I'm doing this because I'm using it again for the same thing. You could just put it in for me, if you would, and I'm going to show you what I do next, which adds a little oomph. OK, so what I want is to add ginger to that, just peeling it.
How's that cake?
You can take it out.
Wow. That's nice, huh?
It's old-fashioned looking, isn't it? Right, so, not too fine a grater. OK, so we're going to get a bit of kitchen towel,
Yeah.
and I make it like a little swag bag.
Oh.
And I pour the juice in, because I want the gingeriness in, but I want to keep it smooth.
Alrighty. What are we doing
Right,
now, Nigella?
I'm just going to put the cake
Yep.
there. I'm going
So
to
just let it
unveil
cool down inside the tin?
I do, yes.
Yep. Wow.
That's
wow.
there. And now I'm going to slather this on. You see, and I don't do it very smooth. I like it quite
Knobbly.
bulbous, knobbly, swirly. I can't stop. I find it quite a comforting thing, just swirling about. OK, and so this is just more of the candied ginger.
Wow.
And I think, see, this is what I like. I like mess, so I'm going to let some go all round here. Got lots. It's like gold, isn't it? Little nuggets of gold. And this is quite a great ingredient, I think, in cooking that candied ginger.
Yeah, and some walnuts.
And some more walnuts. I'm happy. And that's all I can say to you. There you are. My ginger and walnut carrot cake.
Incredible. Looks delicious. Who wants a piece? Michelle, Khan, come on.
I'm
Let's
going to
go.
give you the knife. You're good at
I
cutting.
get the honours.
You do.
Wow. This is cool. Right. How good's that?
Yum.
Thank you, Nigella.
My pleasure.
Oh my God.
Some description for all of us here that are salivating, please. Okay, yeah, gotcha. Right, thank you, guys. Can you get that fresh ginger?
Oh,
Definitely.
The ginger on the top with the walnuts is just sensational. The crunch and the ginger. And it's sweet, but it's not, you know, overly sweet.
Yeah,
it's just,
yeah.
it's delicious.
I like all the different textures in the actual cake itself.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm loving the walnuts. It's kind of like no longer like hard walnut. It's kind of softened a bit, little bit, but there's still crunch in it. It's yum.
I know, it's fantastic. Thank you.
Right, share it with your friends.
That ginger.